So pretty much one exercise has got my traps to grow, which I'll show them at the end. I ain't gonna show them a big old fat gut now. I've done got a little bit of weight on me, but here at the end I'll show, same thing you see in the picture. So, it ain't no picture. All them ones have been taken since I've been doing this thing. But anyway, in prison, I deadlifted a pretty tremendous amount, and at the end of every set, like I do 405 for 10, for 4 sets of 10, I'd shrug it 10 times a day. And it just wasn't getting a whole lot. I think shrugs are useless. And there was a giant behemoth of a man who went by Red, who became one of my best friends when I was in jail. He ended up doing a 17-year sentence for his third distribution charge, who had traps up to his freaking ears. And anytime somebody asks, how'd you get your traps like that, man? Upright rows. And there's a way to it. It's a little bit different than the typical way, the grip and how he did it, and just tips. I asked him specific tips about it. And I'm not a fitness professional, but I can show you what worked for me. See, a lot of these people doing these fitness channels and stuff, they're genetically gifted and popped out of the womb with muscles. That wasn't me. I was scrawny as could be, jumped out, had to work for it. So it's like stuff that'll work for it worked for me, so I'm just passing it on. Also, you've been doing the workout that's started very small, do the same thing that we've done the last 3 days. I've got a bone sticking out of the top of my right foot right now. And I do plan on doing the workout tomorrow, but today, just getting in the push-up position, I think I've dislodged a bone that's like halfway up my foot. It's called a Lisp Frank dislocation, and I'm not getting surgery regardless of whether it is or not. I'll live with it. Doctors don't like surgeries. But that's why I'm not doing it today. So push-ups, squats, burpees if you can do them. If you can't do burpees, the jump squats. And then the sit-ups and leg raises, just the same, handful that we've been doing the last 3 days. Tomorrow will be added on top of that. But you've seen it, know what to do. It's the same thing as the last 3 days with that. But anyway, with upright rows, I start with just the bar, and I'm going to do this. And I do a set of 10. And then I wait 1 minute, I add 10 pounds. I do it again. Wait 1 minute, add 10 pounds until I get to failure, until I get to a set in which I can no longer hit a set of 10. When I get to that point, I go back down 10 pounds at a time until I get back to the bar. So say 45, 55, 65, 75, say that's all I go up to. Then 65, 55, 45. It ends up being 7 sets with minute rest, and it pumps them up. And it's worked for me. That and rear delts. Rear delts is an exercise I'm going to be adding tomorrow. But so many people neglect them. Front and side, they build their shoulders, but the rear delt can make you look completely different. And the picture I've got posted up there, when I got out of prison, my front delt was probably 2 to 3 times the size as my rear delt. And it's a big thing in boxing. A speed bag, you look at it, a speed bag makes absolutely no sense. Does not help you become a better boxer. Some people argue with that, but basically it's rear delt and forearm workout. The retraction on punches, your punching speed, being able to retract your punch. Rear delts are a huge part of that. Whenever I went to the boxing gym, whenever I went to a lot of these gyms, when I got out of prison, I thought, I'm strong, I'll be good. A lot of little muscles I neglected ended up wearing out. And when they wore out, I got my butt whooped. So I started realizing, I had power in certain things, but other things, I was no better than I'd ever been. Grip was a huge thing that developed in the rear delts, and stuff like that. But traps go into everything. Any martial art, judo, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. If I'm not regularly doing this, and I have hard sparring, a hard day of training, like an hour and a half, 2 hour training session with a lot of sparring. In all 3 of those arts, my traps are wrecked the next day. They go down between your shoulder blades. They're not just the tops of your shoulders. And it's something that I've seen is a huge connection. So like I said, I'm not an expert, but I can show what works for me. I can show how I built mine. I built mine after prison for the most part. In prison, I didn't have much development. In there, it's all ego lifting. So if you've been doing the workouts and stuff, just do the same old stuff you've been doing. Show you what I do with this. So this is a 45-pound bar. See if I can get that in there. And I take my hands, there's 2 lines right here. I put my hands on each side of those lines. I have my arms just like this. I actually shrug my shoulders forward. And you know, somebody might say, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. This is what I've done, is what has worked for me. This is what's built mine since I've been out. So, you know, I can't speak on everything, I can just speak on what's worked for me. So, and it's been a long time because I tore my rotator cuff. So this is the first time since my rotator cuff tear that I've done this. So instead of wrecking myself, okay, let's see the time. Okay, in 1 minute I do another set. So during that time, I'll put 5 pounds on each side. I'm just gonna go up to, I'm getting ready to put 55 on there, 65, then I'm gonna go back down. It's the first time I've done it since I tore my shoulder. So I'm not gonna go back up to, all the way up to 85 or as high as I can, because I'll feel like I'm wrecked tomorrow. I probably feel like I'm wrecked Saturday, got judo Saturday, so. But yeah, it's just this simple thing. Doing it twice a week, shrugging 400 pounds. Did very little to make them grow, but this lightweight with short rests just started growing. I mean, you know, something that was terrible, mine were pitiful, that I was able to build just doing this. So since it worked, I figured I'd save somebody else the trouble if they're looking to do it instead of doing exercises that don't work, because I've done a lot of those. So, okay, time to go again. Hadn't lifted in a while, you get shaky. I don't have clips on this. Trying not to let it drop. 43, okay. So, switch again. And screwed, I might end up going higher than I just said I would. I'm stubborn. But this is something I swear by. It's what I've seen results with. And if you can skip the stuff that just is like bumping your head on the wall that doesn't do anything and get to the stuff that does work, you know, it's just a little something I figured I could share. It's worked for me. So, you know, figured I'd pass it on. And forearms done a whole lot of stuff with grip. My grip used to be terrible, and that's something everybody compliments on now is when I get a hold of somebody, they can't get me off of them because I've done a lot on grip, which I'll do in another one. But anyway, whoops. I'm gonna add another 5. And then after this one, I'll go back down. I'm gonna not be ignorant after this one and push my luck. It's first one. Done bench press good. I've gotten it back up to where I was getting 225 for 6 or 7. Then I got sick. It wiped me out. And even when I had even when I gotten really sick before, I could still lift weights. You know, gotten it twice. This time, I couldn't even walk across the room. It was like it took the life out of me. Lungs are still recovering, you know, but I couldn't lift weights. And the first time I had it, lifted weights the entire time. Did that fine, just chilled out on cardio. This time, something else. It's been rough this time. But getting back, can't use that excuse. Just lay down and quit. So. That was pushing it. Felt a little twinge in my shoulder, but nothing bad. So that's where I'm going back down for now, because it's the first time I've done it in a minute. So those tiny little muscles, that's something with jiu-jitsu too. Tiny little muscles, like just the instep of your foot, making hooks. Whole front get sore the first little bit. I got out of prison thinking I was something special, because I could lift some weight and powerlifting, and in every martial art I've done, there have been muscles that I have completely neglected. Just not done anything nearly what I needed to be complete. So I'll add more stuff on that later. But this one just the traps one a day. And like I said, with the other stuff, I'm gonna add rear delt raises tomorrow in the stuff that's going for the 120 days. But if you're doing that, just do the same thing we've done the last 3 days. Even in a push-up position, my balls of my feet on the ground, I feel pressure on that bone that's sticking up. So I hope it's not, I don't know if it's a bone, I don't know what it is sticking up. Be a bone, be a tendon, I don't know what it is. It's got me freaked the hell out though. Okay, put my gloves on. So this will end up being let's see, yeah, 7 sets. So 7 sets, but the minute rests are the big part. I didn't look at the clock before I did that. I have to guess on that. Didn't look at the clock like I should. Resistance bands are tremendous too. Scott Sigmund, his boxing gym, he has been to an absurd amount of resistance bands. Regardless of how much I curled, how many times, he'd get me in there, he'd be like, he'd hand me a bench and say, 100, do 100. He'd say, 100, and 100, have to do sets of 100 with the resistance bands, despite lifting so many sets. So those bands wear you out. Those bands will get you in shape. I'm serious. I didn't understand it till I ended up getting worn out in his gym, getting wrecked. I started adding those in every day. One more set. After you ain't done it for a minute, getting back, you're shaky, everything else, like you're stabilizing muscles. Like normally you can control it, control it, but I feel like it might not be as visible, but like I feel like this little shakiness, like tremor, because I hadn't done it in so long. With this shoulder hurt, I continued to do dumbbells with this right side the entire time this was hurt. My right arm is bigger than the left, everything. All the muscles on this side are bigger than that side. Because when I was hurt, I couldn't use that arm, but it wasn't an excuse to not do one side. Too many people make too many excuses. You can do something, regardless of what's hurting. Which is why instead of not doing those stuff, I'm doing this. Oh, it's stupid, it's embarrassing. Pop myself. So that's it. That's what I've done. More or less get my traps how they are. Like I said, I ain't gonna show my fat gut on here. People like that before and after stuff. Nah, I keep it before. I keep that here in the way. I show my fat belly. Gotta get cut back down though, but of course I'm flexing, but just so you can see, that's me. Just some people ask, they're like, oh, you used to be bigger. I'm like, dude, I took that last night. So you see, I got a fat gut right now. Ain't nothing to brag about. That's pitiful. I ain't gonna show you that, but we're gonna work on it. All right, y'all.